Welcome to Divisive Issues, a comic book podcast where we talk about comic books. I'm Ryan.
I'm Sly.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Darryl.
We made it, guys. Trademark patent pending.
Woo. What did you bring for us today, Darryl? We let you pick it this time.
Yeah, so this time, this is a Darryl pick, and this is Keijo! 8 exclamation points.
When you said Keijo, I thought it was like a kaiju story. It's not.
Well, there are big things in here.
So what Darryl was thinking when he picked this was, we got too much talk about pro-feminism, like equality, put women in a good light. So we have to undo our goodwill in that category and go with just butts and boobs.
Yeah, if you don't know what Keijo is, it's basically this manga that turned into an anime that's a sport about girls fighting each other using only their asses and their boobs, so they can't use their like arms and legs. And I watched a couple episodes because I'm like, this sounds so dumb, and when I watched the episodes I'm like, this is so dumb. So I knew we had to cover it for the show. But
when Darryl recommended this, I was not interested in it at all.
You said it wasn't ambitious.
Yeah. So I thought it would just be like, oh, ha, boobs and butts. And look, in traditional jokes where, like guys walk into the locker room and like, oh, look, boobs and butts and stuff like that. It is way more than that.
It is the epitome of every anime stereotype in one comic that's just full of asses.
Yeah, it's just like
when I was reading it, I actually commented to the rest of you guys that this was like Gurren Lagann and Dragon Ball Z with asses.
Yeah, when I suggested that it might not be ambitious enough, I did not realize it's so avant-garde in the way it it satirizes the entire shonen genre.
Yeah, and that's why actually you were saying it's not anti-feminist because it's all boobs and butts, but there are strong female characters.
Yeah, I actually wanted to bring that up at the end, but I might as well bring it up now. Is this the most feminist comic we ever had? It passes the Bechdel test. It's mostly female characters. They're all strong.
More like the rectal test, am I right, guys?
Well, it's kind of in this dumb way where it's like they're all strong, but this is still to the delight of the male audience. Like, it even shows that like the majority of people that watch this are men.
Yeah.
When you guys said this was a sport, I thought they played a sport with their boobs and butts, like they hit a ball. I didn't realize they fight each other.
It's Dragon Ball Z of butts and boobs.
It really is.
So we're doing chapters 109 to 121 of Keijo.
Yeah, we jumped really far ahead. Initially, I wanted to get us into it and read the beginning because like the beginning of the anime like starts out all right. It starts with them fighting, but the beginning of the manga is not good. I read through 3 volumes and it was all trash, and we could not cover it for the show because it was 1, it was super tame, and 2, there was no butt fighting.
It's kind of like the Air Gear effect, where if anyone watched the Obama episode when we talked about Air Gear, where it started out with just a bunch of guys on rollerblades and it became about Obama body swapping for girl.
This is way better than Air Gear.
Yeah, but like it's the same effect where it starts out like a traditional cliche, kind of cliche in this case, setup. But eventually the writer gets bored and it just devolves into insanity.
Is this one of those mangas that's still being published that's up to like volume 1000?
I think this is still going on today.
Do you know, this is one of the only comics that I've read for this show that I accidentally read past where we were supposed to because I couldn't stop. I was just like, oh shit, we were supposed to stop a while ago.
Normally that would break my heart, but I'm okay with it this time. This was a delight.
All right, so since we're jumping ahead, our story is going to begin with 3 girls going to Ass Island.
It looks like an ass.
Now, one thing I do have to say, like the Obama episode, this is a fan translation.
I think I'm going to say, like the Obama episode, they say ass a lot.
But it is a fan translation, so like if you're a super traditionalist or whatever, sorry if it's not actually Ass Island, but it has to be.
Sorry, bucket gaijin all the time.
Also, I'm going to constantly reference anime throughout this episode.
So it'll be like every other fucking episode.
Fuck you.
It's like every day living with Phil.
Yeah.
How often do I reference anime in this show?
Always.
Every time you talk about like anything like, oh, these guys are fighting. This reminds me so much of an anime like Dragon Ball Z when the hero can't stop the hero.
Things either remind you of animes or civil rights documentaries, Phil.
Yeah, there's 2 modes.
Phil's extremes.
If you want to summarize Phil, it's civil rights documentaries and anime. That's it.
And butts.
I feel like that doesn't actually describe me.
All right, Final Fantasy Tactics.
There you go.
There you go. The third point on our...
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with it now.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, these 3 girls are at this island because one girl, she's a girl with a headband. Her thing is she is the main character. The main character is Nozomi, and her senpai is I, and she's
I don't know what that means.
Her older classmate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like if you were a senior in high school and
Darryl was our senpai our freshman year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
was.
I've heard that term so many times in the Notice Me Senpai.
Am I
Ubu.
somebody's waifu?
Yeah, I thought I meant like waifu or something at this point.
It's just like this is like a common trope where the younger girl sees like the older classmate guy who's like a year older than her, and she's like, "I want to get senpai to notice me."
Oh, okay.
Like us with Darryl, like I said.
Yes.
And so this headband girl's come to this island because she needs to see her family because her family has been her father creates these like skin tight super swimsuits that are illegal to use in this Keijo sport. The sport's called Keijo, where you fight with your asses. So these suits.
It's Keijo. Say it right.
Shut up, Spy. They're illegal to use, so she needs to come here because she believes they're besmirching her good name because she left on like bad terms with the family. And this is like the most complicated the plot kind of gets.
Yeah. I was not sold here. I was like, oh, I don't want to learn all this backstory
Until the fucking security guard shows up.
So it feels like this is like Civil War. I've learned all this backstory of the fucking butt underwear, the fucking butt athletes, all this butt stuff. Fuck this manga.
So they go to see her family and they go to the gates, and these security guards are outside the gate and they're like, you can't come in, like we don't even know who you are because she's been using a different name. And then her hot-headed friend Nozomi, the main character, comes up and is like, you should
Is her name Nozomi or is it Kaminashi? Because I don't know which one goes first.
Kaminashi, your last name goes first, and that's what people usually refer to you as.
So are we calling her Nozomi or Kaminashi?
Nozomi?
Okay.
Because we're close to her, because we understand her story, so we're allowed to refer to her by her first name. Anyway, they go to these the gates where these guards are at. Yeah, and they're not going to let them in. And then this, like, lab lady with an eye patch who just shows up real quick, she comes in and she starts making fun of the headband girl. And then Nozomi gets mad and does, like, the typical, like, shonen thing where she gets upset that, like, the world isn't the way that she wants it to be. Where it's like, why can't a daughter see her mother? Like, isn't that disgusting and sick?
She really is like your stereotypical shonen male main character, even though she's, in this case, every named character is a girl.
Yeah.
She like just is like very stubborn and brash and overcomes her problems through sheer force of will. Every time it's like, I can't do this, it's like, I'll tell you that I can, and here's why, and it's her boobs.
Yep. So it gets straight into it, and the lab coat woman throws off her suit, and she's in this like bikini with all these like
It's a gas powered bikini.
yeah, a GX999 gas powered bikini, and she blasts at Nozomi, who stops her with her breasts, and then
So okay, just to paint this picture, she has like pads or something, like her ass is inflated, and she like tries to slam it against Nozomi. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, she slams against Nozomi, and then it zooms in to where her breast is touching this woman's butt, and then suddenly Nozomi erects her nipples, and they poke through the ass gas machine and send her flying off.
Yeah, like fucking Team Rocket.
And this is the cusp of where this is going to go.
Not only does she fly away, she smashes through the gate that she was protecting, and then flies away. So now they can just go in.
And more guards show up because they're like, you can't come in, you're banished from the family or whatever, exile, something like that.
Yep, but then headband girl's mom shows up and it's like, oh, honey, here you are. And she brings her in and they sit down and her daughter gets mad. She throws out like the swimsuit that she was given. And she says, like, why are you guys doing this? You know this is illegal. Are you trying to, like, ruin your own family's name? And they're like, no, it's because we want to destroy the entire Goketsu. And then we have, like, a little asterisk at the bottom that says, Goketsu, 5 asses. So these are the best asses in the world.
Like, again, every single shonen has, like, the 5 villains or the 4 villains. It's like the Hokage in Naruto.
So it's kind of hard for me to tell the tone here. In the anime, do they do this? Is this like played tongue in cheek, or is it like straight?
No, it's played straight like this, where they're like, all right, this is the best fighter in the world. Look at her butt.
That's so funny.
That's what I love about it. Like the thing that really, well, I was like I said, I was like hesitant on this one, but what really sold me on it was like the opening page was the rich girl saying, I have to be brave, I have to cook for my family, and shows her in front of a sunset, and it's a beautiful landscape, and then says at the title, Ass Island. That's a good tone to strike.
They don't ever make jokes about it. Like, they're very serious about their asses.
They never once bring up how ridiculous this all is. It's more like, I have to do this. Like, this is my destiny.
Yeah.
It's like Girl Noggin and stuff like that.
It really
We're like, we have to save the world. It's like, I have to be the best ass in the world.
Yeah, and they do refer to themselves as asses constantly.
Yeah.
They're like, I have to be a good ass.
So the mom, shows this, mesh underwear that she's gonna use to cheat, and it's gonna bring, respect back to the family?
No, what's happening right now is, Japan's divided into West and East, and I believe it's the East that they have such good asses. All the Gokuts and...
Goketsu.
belong... they belong to the East.
All according to Gogetsu.
So the West has been falling behind, and they want to restore balance in Japan and have better ass fighters.
Yeah, because apparently it's so bad that not a single Western ass fighter can ever compete with the East.
Yep.
Like, they're in completely different leagues.
Yeah. So
This is the moment when I was sold on this fucking book, because they go outside and they're looking at rocks in their garden.
yeah, it's behind them. Nozomi suddenly notices that something's wrong. And
It's a garden. It's just the illustration is just a garden.
Mm-hmm. But two rocks are rising out of the garden, and then you realize those aren't rocks. That's an ass.
A rock-shaped ass.
Yeah. So this ass rises out of the ground, and it tells you that this is the Tokyo branch, A-class ass alchemist.
This is also when I was sold, especially because the idea of having classes of
Of
characters.
asses?
Yeah, it's so great because this is something that you see in every fucking shonen. It's like, here's my rank if I'm in Naruto, or in One Punch Man they have C class heroes, B class heroes,
And power levels too. Power levels over 9,000.
They love classifying heroes, and the fact that they introduced the ass alchemist as an A class is just
Yeah, because it feeds into that the nerdy feeling of you want to see these people combat each other. You want to see that B class underdog take on that A class.
yeah.
So here comes that A-class alchemist, and she flies in and attacks them. Remember, they always attack either with their ass or their breast, so she slams her butt down.
And turns out she had a recorder in the room, and she swipes it from where she planted it in the room.
And the recorder is recording them saying yeah, we're cheating with this underwear.
Yep, and she's going to bring this to the top 5 asses in the nation.
And how does she deliver it there, Darryl?
She slides it into her breasts.
In between them.
Yeah, in between her breasts. So they have to get it out like that.
And then it's just too hard to get it out. The unblockable barrier.
Yeah, Nozomi goes to grab it, and she's too quick. She backs away, and then we have Miyata, her best friend. That's the one that they're trying to ship the most.
I think they
And
even
she's really shy.
At one point, I think they even say what happens when an immovable ass meets an unstoppable breast or something.
Yep. Miyata uses her ability. I didn't know if you guys saw this, but she has this ability where she grabs her underwear and gives herself a wedgie because it gives her butt more room to move and not be blocked by cloth. And it's called K acceleration.
Later on, she does this thing where she makes a bunch of asses sprout around her, and she selects.
No, that's not Miyata. Technically,
That's I.
Yeah.
Oh, it's I. Okay.
No, that's not
She-
I either. That's another character.
What?
Oh.
I thought it was I.
No, there's again, like with Shonen, there's 30 or 40 different characters that you
Oh
have
my
to keep track
god.
of. And this is another friend that she met earlier on.
Well, we find out why this ass alchemist is called the ass alchemist, because she can change her ass at will. So as they're trying to fight her ass, literally, it looked like rocks before because it can actually turn to rocks.
I like
Yeah.
Ryan has wrote the notes for this episode, so his notes actually says they fight. Her ass is rock.
Oh, but then when it changes again, it's my fucking favorite thing.
Yes, this is such a great... So the lab lady comes in after being blown away by Nozomi.
And they call her ass gas girl or something. Gas
Yep. She has guards with her that have guns with rubber bullets in them. And so they point at her and they're like, we need to take you out. And they shoot the ass alchemist, but suddenly the corner in her ass disappeared and became round. And Nozomi can't believe it. No way, could she have a soft ass? And you see all these bullets fly into her butt. It zooms in on her butt. And then all the bullets fly back and take out all the guards.
She turns into like the blob there. ass blob.
Yeah, and it bounces them all back, and it's how is this not ambitious?
Yeah, and also on top of that, like the mom gets hurt in the ricochet, so it's like a serious moment where the mom gets injured and she's wounded. And I'm like, no, mom. And the reason why she's injured is because an ass bounced off a bullet into her body.
And then that's when her daughter goes like Super Saiyan.
Yeah. As Ryan puts in the notes, he evolves into Dino ass.
So like,
Yes. So she jumps up into the air and she goes butt first at this girl, and then suddenly, like, her skirt bursts and it becomes a T-Rex's face to bite her, and it's her like evolution ass.
I couldn't tell if this was supposed to be an actual T-Rex or if it's like the strength of her ass attack.
I think it's her ass attack, because there's another character earlier on that could attack with like tigers.
but then they do literally have like ass magic later.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
So they fight for the eye, and the ass alchemist fight for a little while, and the eye knocks her against a stone wall, and what happens was rubble sticks to the ass alchemist's butt, and she basically just shakes her butt and makes all the rubble spread like bullets.
Yeah, she like shoots with her ass.
Yeah.
It's her supersonic hip, because all these moves are named.
And so then, while they're getting their ass kicked by the ass alchemist,
This is again the most shonen thing in the world, where it's like time to finish you off.
Yeah.
And she jumps in the air to
No,
use
she doesn't jump in the air. She bounces her ass off the air so hard it propels her upwards.
Oh my god!
And as she's about to strike down our heroes, a mysterious robed figure teleports in right in between her, and you're like, oh, who could this be? It must be someone really powerful.
and it's somebody with a holy sword stuck up her ass.
Quite literally, a golden sword jammed into this girl's ass.
It's the judgment ass, one of the Goketsu.
And the handle is the part that's sticking out.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what her name is. Her name the user of the golden ass. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
We can just call her Judgment Ass.
Judgment ass is good.
That's her.
And
Like
she's one of the Gogetsu. She's one of the top 5 asses in the country.
Yeah. So what happens is that she actually, like I said, she has a sword for ass, and she pulls it out. When she pulls it out, it like she's like a fucking explosion onto the ass alchemist.
You forgot one of my favorite parts of this whole thing is the alchemist is mouthing off to her, and she's saying, like, because Judgment Ass is asking her, like, who ordered you to do this? And the ass alchemist is like, I can't say, but no, it's for like the best of you Koketsu. And then suddenly she gets slapped across the face with her breast.
Oh, yes.
And then we get a full like 30 panels of just her getting walloped across the face.
She's
over and over
smashing her with these breasts and going like, do you think I like this? You think I like treating you like this?
Yeah, do you think I enjoy something as vulgar as this?
It's like in a movie where like a villain's like beating the shit out of an henchman. It's like, fuck you, like, why'd you disobey me? And he's like pummeling him, but instead it's doing it for boobs. It's like a serious,
so
brutal
funny.
moment.
And then she pulls the sword out of her ass.
It's something out of like Fate Stay Night, where like Excalibur is coming out of her ass, and just just pulling it out is enough to destroy her. You don't even need to use it.
Like I said in the Fate Stay Night, it's like in Fate Stay Night where they pull Excalibur out of their asses. Is that thing that happens in Fate Stay Night?
Close.
I love that Nozomi looks at this and goes, what the hell, there's a hole in the ground. It's like a meteor fell from the sky. I can't believe this. An ass did all this?
And so it turns out the golden ass is like. I wasn't here to do this. I was just here to eat some ass puffs, which are like the trademark.
Yeah, she was just visiting for their like seasonal treat.
Yeah.
At Ass Island.
Yeah, and so but then A's dad and a bunch of other dudes show up, and they talk about how important asses are to, and like winning ass competitions are to their society, and they have to strive to be better.
Yeah,
And
it's the dumb thing where it's like you bring in every other like non-essential character throughout the whole thing to show you that they support you. Like everyone that's been in the background, like her, the Headband Girl's entire family, and everyone that works there just comes in and is like, we're not just doing this to make money. We're doing this because we believe in the asses of the West.
Yeah, I love that. They're very supportive of this.
Yep.
Like the fans of this sport seem to be like literal, like they're like a cult. They're like cultists. They love this.
Yeah,
like real sports.
Yeah, that's true.
But so basically, they convinced her to use the super underwear, and so they put Ally's nipples in the clamp and equipped.
Well,
the
it's like a
underwear.
training montage, and this is her dad.
Yeah.
But she gets naked and puts like, it looks like those, like the Salem witch trials, like where you put your hands through that like
Stockades.
Yeah, the stockades. But it's on her nipples, and she's like, yes, and it gives her unlimited underwear powers.
Well, it's like a power suit, except it's like power armor, except just for her.
Yeah.
It's like underwear armor.
Yeah.
Power Under Armor. And also, this is like the first time Shinji gets in his mech in Evangelion.
Sure.
And so just like an anime, Nozomi's now emboldened. She's like, I'm going to go challenge the evil big major 5 villains. And she
Yeah.
goes to the Golden Ass and says, "Oh, we're going to kick your ass."
I love
literally.
that. She's like, yeah.
At first, she's like, "No, don't tell them I'm here. I won't be able to enjoy my treat if they know I'm here." And she's like, "You're the golden ass."
She's like, I'm going to be in the news. I'm so famous. I can't let anyone know I'm here eating asses.
Yeah, ass puffs.
Yeah.
I love how she literally does the shonen thing of like, I'm gonna be Hokage one day, or I'm gonna challenge the. And it's like she's such an underdog that you're like, how could she ever do it? But she believes in herself so much that she will be able to. She believes in her ass.
Yeah, and so believe it, like there's like an anime where it's like, don't believe in my ass, believe in the ass that believes in you. So Nozumi starts working to get points to qualify to even compete against the Koketsu.
She needs to get upgraded to being like it, because I think
She's B rank.
B rank. Yeah, and she needs to get promoted in order for the Goketsu to even take her seriously. So she
Yeah.
needs to find like a way to get points real quick before the next like qualifying round.
Even it's funny. Even Pokemon, the anime had this like point qualifier stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she starts working out really hard, and basically, she works out so hard, her ass starts to wrinkle.
No, that's when she's stressed. It's not because she works hard. She's stressed, and when she's sad, her ass gets saggy and wrinkly. So you have to be like, it's like literally you have to believe in yourself. Otherwise, your ass gets all like soft.
And so it turns out actually, all of Nozomi's friends moved up from B rank except for Nozomi, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And
My favorite thing is this is like the classic super stupid shonen thing where it always shows how good the main character is, and they're always doing like better than everyone else, but somehow like they're always falling behind enough.
Yeah, they're
like,
underappreciated.
Yeah, they're in like a dire situation.
you have to have the underdog.
Yeah, they're always underdogs.
Even though it's like unexplained, like we always just see them being great.
Yeah, and so Nozomi disappears for a while, and everyone's like, "Oh, where'd Nozomi go? I hope she's not too upset she didn't get to B rank." And they find out that through a newspaper that she actually signed up for a tournament in the bad part of the country, the East, I think.
no, that's
Yep.
bad.
East,
The powerful part of the country,
Powerful part.
Yep.
where
Yeah.
the Westerners don't belong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then so Nozomi is now trading in this part of the country.
Yeah.
So now she's in the hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah. So Nozomi gets to the east, and she's apparently the first Westerner there in a long time. And
And everyone is like shocked to see her.
yeah, and it's not like she's the first Westerner. It doesn't seem like she's the first Westerner just for this like fighting sport. They act like they haven't seen a Westerner ever in years and years and years.
Maybe it's because she's in like the training facility or something.
I don't know, but either way, it's like super dramatic.
It's because they're putting on a front.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they know she's meat.
So then she signs up for the big race. Does anyone race? They fight. Why is it
They
called
call
the big
it.
race?
They use it interchangeably.
I think it's a weird
fight.
translation thing.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
It's probably for like a sporting event.
So at the big race starts, and they're like
You
on
should
an
mention that like everyone was being they're being really nice to her and cordial and kind.
They were like,
and help
"Oh, a
her out."
Westerner! It's so good to see you. We're so glad to have one competing with us. We never get to have.
we're gonna
that,
learn
blah,
so
blah."
much from you.
We
like,
also
that
learn
kind of
here that there's this girl with a long ponytail and a scar across her nose that they call the Dawn, and she's
Yeah.
like they're superior. She's their senpai.
stuff. Yeah. So the actual sport that we see here, they're on like an island that floats in like a giant pool.
It's like a Ray Morgan Island. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's like a ring, and they basically have like sumo wrestling rules where you have to knock them out of the ring into
Yeah.
the water.
Yep, this is Keijo proper.
Yeah, so as soon as Keijo starts, all those really nice Easterners super gang up on Nozomi, and
One of my favorite details is like they're all being nice to her, and Nozomi goes forward, and she's like, I wonder what are they talking about, because they're grouped around together, and she finds out that they're all talking about taking her down. They're like, I'm gonna go cut her out. Yeah, I'm gonna take her in the front. I'm gonna go to like the side in case she breaks out. And Nozomi's
And when they
like,
turn around,
yeah, when they turn around, they all have like the crazy eyes, and they're all grinning. And one girl, because again, boobs and butts are weapons, she picks up her own breast and licks it like it's a knife.
it's like, you know how in every anime when they're talking, they see like thugs on the street and they go like, they turn around and they have that like crazed face and they lick the knife. It's literally like that, except they're all girls in swimsuits about to beat someone with their boobs.
Yeah.
so in this fight, Nozomi like starts getting beaten, but then she tricks them and knocks them all in the water and wins the first round. And while she's in the showers, like nursing her bruises and stuff, the Don shows up and gives her ass advice. And she's like, how would you describe the advice? She's like helpful, but she's very much like, I'm the boss.
So,
here.
yeah, the Don's sitting there, and she's having two of her ladies wash her, and she asks one of them, Kigawa, what is the most beautiful ass in this world? And she says, yes, an ass that knows its place. She says, now, Aota, what is the smartest ass in this world? And she says, an ass that has no boring ideals.
This is a very common moment, too, where they have the big boss guy that's being rubbed by other people.
Yeah.
And they get...
Two henchmen always, and they're just like, spouting off what the boss wants them to say in front of the main character.
And basically, like, she's asking Nozomi, or she's telling her, you have to know your place. An ass that embraces its ideals and falls, or an ass that blooms on the surface like a flower. Which would you be?
So, this is when I think it starts to get crazy.
Yeah, this
Up
is
till
where
now,
it
I
gets
was like,
crazy.
this is fine.
If you thought it was crazy before,
So,
now.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned for next episode.
Yeah.
Next time on Keijo, will Nozumi's ass prevail? Should her ass know her proper place? Find out next time.
Yeah. So Nozomi rises to the ranks and she gets to the finals, and the final boss is, of course, the Don. And the Don's opening move in this fight is she uses her boobs to fan, and it changes the temperature so much that the whole stadium becomes foggy. So all of the Don's henchmen knew that this was going to happen. Nozomi didn't, so her bright red bikini stands out. And they're just like beating the shit out of her.
Again, for reference, the first story arc in Naruto where they're fighting on the bridge and there's just fog and you see like these ninjas flying out, just hitting them, cutting them or whatever. It's just these girls in bikinis flying out and smashing them with their boobs. Actually,
When did this come out? Is this like way after all that stuff?
I think so, isn't it? Like
probably
recent?
is.
Because imagine if this is
Yeah.
where it started.
Because actually, I said this is like DBZ with asses, but it's actually Naruto with asses because they act like ninjas. Like they fly around and just like ass smack each other.
It takes from a lot of different shows.
Yeah. By the way, it started premiering as a manga in Shonen July 2013, so way after.
Oh wow!
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
It really is a parody.
So again, this is a comic you're supposed to be up to date on.
Yeah, yeah.
What manga?
So in the fog, Nozomi's getting like the shit pummeled by.
Yeah, asses are just flying out of, like, they're
Yeah,
appearing
and now the
in-
Don's boobs are just slamming her down.
And since we're talking about asses, it's worth clarifying. We're not talking about literally getting the shit being out of her.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because that would be surprising if that actually happened, but it doesn't actually happen.
So at this point, right when Nozomi's like about to lose, her friend Aoba like falls from the sky, and
This
she's
is
like,
Kazane.
"What?
This is Kazane, technically.
Oh, okay, sorry."
Aoba's her last name. Sorry.
We can't call her by her last name. We don't know her.
By the way, one thing that annoys me about manga is not only there's a million characters, but since it's black and white, it's become so much harder to distinguish everyone.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's always a problem.
Even in American comics, like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, when they have like a large cast of different stylized characters, and then they're all black and white, it becomes so hard to distinguish them.
I agree.
I read the Zelda manga where there's 4 different links and it's 4 swords, and you're supposed to tell them apart strictly only by their color, and it's in black and white. So, so what should I call her, Darryl?
Kazane.
Okay, so
You
Kazane.
can call her Aoba if you want.
You can call whatever you want.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I've given
So-
up.
So
Given up trying to teach you gaijin.
So Kazane comes to save the day, and while she's fighting, the Don's goons flank Nozomi, and they take her boobs and they squeeze her nipples between their butts, so her boobs are now like unusable because they're stuck in these 2 girls' butts.
So they're basically pinning her there while the Don
Yeah.
starts to fight Kazane.
Yeah, so this is when the Don goes into this long political rant where she's like, the decline of the West is inevitable. This is what had to happen. Like, you guys are like lazy and inefficient, unlike the East overlords. We will destroy you in Keijo and then destroy you in everything else.
I do like how the Don is one of these villains, these shonen villains, who like worked really hard to get their position. Like they feel like they deserve where they're supposed to be.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how much you guys... I don't know whether you picked up on this, but they're actually like sad because of the fact that a lot of people use their place to get points to get up in
Yeah.
A rank, And that's
Yeah,
what she's
yeah.
upset about, is all these people come over that think they're better, and they try and like use this place to beat them in this tournament because there's such like a small Easterner town. And
Yeah.
the
Stepping
Don,
stone.
the Don's upset about that because she wanted to move up to our like to challenge the Gokutsun, and she couldn't. And so because of that, now she just has to sit here, and she's like, well, I'm an ass that knows my place now.
And,
Yeah.
and that's also why they all team up on her so readily too, is because they are all like, we have to we can't let these foreigners just come in and constantly shit on us.
It's a very typical like anime trope where they fight somebody who looks like overly villainous, but you realize they have a sympathetic side to them.
Yes.
Again, like the first story arc in Naruto, where it's Zabuza, who's like, he has a scar, and you're like, he actually had a really hard life, and you're really making it hard for him, heroes.
I actually wonder if the Dawn teams up with the characters later on. Probably, right?
Probably.
Probably.
So, just when you start to feel for the Don, our two heroes grab the goon's ankles with their butts and slam her face first into the dirt.
Well, you skipped over what Kazane's power is, the Hip of Babylon.
Does that happen yet? I thought that happened right after
That
this.
happens near the end. It's like the...
No. This is her main power that she's been using the whole time.
Oh, so what does she do? I don't remember.
So her thing is she has a. This is directly ripped from Fate's Stay Night.
Yeah, I saw this. I was like,
It's Gilgamesh's power, where his power is that he can pull swords out of this treasury he has of like all the swords in the world, and he can materialize them in real life and fire them at people. And so her thing is that she has these asses. Any ass that she's touched, she has memorized her ability. So all these asses comes out. All she has to do is touch their ass to hers, and then she can use their abilities.
So she's like an Animorph.
Yeah. And someone that hasn't read Animorphs,
Sure.
It's
No,
exactly like that.
no.
It's right out of it.
she basically copies powers. That's her thing.
So she's more like Diddle, Ryan. Get it right.
or like Rogue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Comic guys, come on.
So she uses like giant ass wheel, and there's Derringer hip where she attacks like multiple times with her butt.
But
And
it really,
she's using
it's
all these-
supposed to be just like Gilgamesh, because each ass she pulls out is like a named ass weapon.
It is literally Gilgamesh. It's like it's the same like golden rings that appear
Yeah.
around as the asses come out.
Because Gilgamesh is always pulling out like legendary weapons as he fights, and this is like, she names these asses.
It's awesome.
So is a continued fight. Now we're nearing. You know how in those shonen story arcs where they're fighting this boss for several episodes, and we're getting near the end of the fight where they're like starting to increase their power levels, and they use a move called the vacuum ass cannon. And you think like, oh, now the heroes are finally gonna win, but the Dawn, that wasn't even her final form, because she rips off her swimsuit top. And they're like, "What's happening to her boobs?" And they start getting bigger, and they think her boobs are inflating. But actually, she explains, her boobs were actually this big the whole time, and she's been wearing a swimsuit. She basically takes off her shackles and drops
Yes.
them.
To inverse a comparison that Phil made, this is like when Doomsday lost his outfit, and now he has all his spines and everything.
Yeah, I honestly, this is one of my fucking favorite shonen tropes. When they're fighting a villain to like almost a standstill, and the villain's like, "You think I'm actually fighting you? I'm actually left-handed, or I'm actually wearing weights, or whatever."
Yeah, and her secret ability is I'm actually a K cup.
So her boobs are huge.
They call them her mark of hubris.
And basically, she starts swinging her boobs around into like whips, like
Like a
Yeah,
boom
it's
copter.
such a crazy drawing. It looks like 6 boobs all going out, like lashing at.
it's great because the main
Zoe.
character like jumps back and the boob almost grazes her face, and she's like, "That couldn't have been her boob at this range." Like, and she just basically starts using like a boob helicopter move.
She calls it her boob copter.
Yeah. And then we see some Yu-Gi-Oh shit here, where
It really almost literally.
literally, where what's her name?
Kazane.
Kazane reaches into the vault of Babylon or whatever.
The hip of
and
Babylon.
The ass she pulls out is a sarcophagus. It's an ancient Egyptian mummy ass.
It's like a full 2-page spread of this sarcophagus she's grabbing by the ass.
And it really is like something out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because she's like, I found this ancient Egyptian power. And
Yeah.
she pulls it out. And
he talks about how ancient Egyptian, they use their asses with sorcery. And now I know the power of ass sorcery.
yeah, so basically she starts using ass
and the
magic.
Don's like, what? Ass sorcery? There's no such thing.
And she basically uses it, the ass sorcery, to turn her ass into the legendary spear gay ball, which can't miss. And she turns it into like ass ball, or what do they call it?
Yeah, basically it's going straight for the Don's groin. And
It will always pierce an opponent's groin. It will never miss.
Yeah,
It's like it is like gay ball in Fate Stay Night, or if you've watched Gurren Lagann, when they're like, we believe in our shot so much that they have a 100% chance to hit no matter what. So they're like, they go through reality. It's like this, no matter where you shoot this attack, it always hits the groin. So
Unless
she sets up her boobs as a shield to defend her
yeah,
groin.
so she uses her boobs to defend. So it's like, if it's always gonna hit, I have to just block the area. So she's using the boobs as a shield, and then what she does is she opens her groin. This is all these panty shots of her just showing her groin, and it looks like she's letting herself get hit. And she's like, oh, now it's time to finish her off. And Kizane uses her ass bulg or whatever to hit her groin, but actually it was a trap. And the Don uses her boobs to slam Kizane and pin her down. And I think she
Yeah, and I think in
she knocks
this,
her out.
Yeah, in this specific match, if your butt hits the ground, I think you're out.
Yeah, so she smashes her to the ground, and it's unbelievable that even with this ancient Egyptian sorcery, she loses. And so our final moment of this fight is obviously the shonen main character versus the boss.
Yeah, like even though there's always like a side character who's like, oh, I'm showing my true strength now, and I'm gonna fight long. Like they can never outstage the main character.
It's like when Vegeta fights Cell, and he's like so strong, and then actually he loses, and he's like, "What? I didn't expect you to be so strong, and you really need Goku."
Yeah.
Yep. And as she's running at the Don, Nozomi's thinking to herself, it seems I'm finally clashing asses with the real Don. as she's hitting her breasts with her butt.
And they basically do like this huge 2-page spread of all these boob attacks at each other, and before they were like yelling names once in a while, like boob copter or hip boob cannon or whatever. And now this page is just like filled
Meteor
with all these...
hip bullet, ass leg sweep, tit copter, exploding boob fist, chest execution, boob vector cannon. It's so many names.
And they're just like smashing. It's like
I want to know what exploding tit fist is.
And then the best part now.
Wait, Final Heaven breast style is pretty good too.
That's pretty great. I have to say, I just love named attacks too, and this is something that I love when you've maybe played those shmups. Those
yeah, Exceed.
which is like the Exceed games. What are some of those names like Carnage Heaven and
Death Algorithm.
yeah.
That's one reason why I love like the Marvel vs. Capcom games, because they make the Marvel characters do it like web fall, web swing, optic blast. I find that cool, even though
Optic blast.
I love that shit. And so then obviously you need a final move. So as they're like fighting to a standstill, Dragon Ball Z style, the Dawn starts to her long whip boobs. She starts to twist them. And they start getting round and round, and they start actually making a drill. And again, complete ripoff of Gurren Lagann here.
It's complete ripoff of Gurren Lagann.
She
It's
does-
a Giga Drill Breaker.
She does the Giga Tit Breaker that can pierce any boobs. And even though it should pierce anything, when the dust clears, of course, through sheer force of will, the main character is standing there taking the Giga Tit Breaker and actually pushing her back. And
With her ass.
yeah, and apparently she was using ass gas to push herself forward, the Dawn is. And the Dawn runs out of gas and says, I'm finally defeated this way, I ran out of gas. And she gets knocked into the water, and they're like, we finally did it, Nozomi's so excited, but the Dawn is like, I can't believe we were defeated by these Westerners, but, to make everything better, since she's a sympathetic villain, the crowd goes wild, they love the Dawn, they're like, that was such a great fight, you're still the best, we support you no matter what. And that's the end of that story arc.
Yeah, that's the end of the Dawn arc where Nozomi goes to Funbayashi.
Oh man, that was awesome.
So I think we all know how the four of us feel about it.
I know we haven't done recommendations in a while, but honestly, if you don't want to read all this ass stuff, but you like the idea of satirizing shonen, One Punch Man is so good. And it does the same exact thing where it's like, it's making fun of shonen while also being a pretty enjoyable shonen at the same time. I recommend One Punch Man to everyone.
I mean, this was like, even though it was like a big satire, this was a lot of fun. Like, I was like engaged with it.
Me too. I told you I kept reading because I didn't realize. Like, I didn't want it to be over.
So we obviously have fun with it, but let us know what you guys thought of it, audience, and because it would be great to do more of this stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we don't do a lot of manga, but like, this was awesome.
Yeah, time to do the weekly Keijo review. Keijo!
We're just gonna become a Keijo show.
I like that it converted you guys to like one of the worst types of manga.
It's not. It's
It's
not.
it's like it's
No,
fun. It's
this is
just
what it's
so
like, Darryl,
empty.
because we're
It's-
like, read all these great books, and you guys are like, this is pretty good.
Oh,
And then we
and
read
then I'm
fucking
like,
Nemesis, and you're like, no, I want more of this.
Nemesis is pretty good. This is Nemesis.
It'd be funny, like Darryl recommends something like fucking like Spirit Away level quality, and then we watch it, like, it's okay. There's no kaiju though.
Oh man.
I feel like this is like the anti-Nemesis.
No, I feel like they're born from a similar place.
No, because
Of
Nemesis.
two idiots that didn't
No,
know
but
better.
Nemesis is so serious. and
Yeah.
This is so goofy.
This is obviously satire.
I feel the boys is more comparable to this because the boys at least had some good writing.
I think that's fair.
in it, and you could tell like the writer was a good writer and he was having fun with the concept, even though we hated how edgelord it was.
Yeah.
But like, Nemesis was just bad writing.
Yep.
You call it satire, but I think this guy still takes this pretty seriously as like writing.
If it's true, that's even better because just like the room where when
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's true.
when Time Boy started realizing how much of a joke he was, he became way less funny than when he thought it was.
I can't
Yeah.
I
Genius.
can't think he thinks it's 100% serious because he knows he's stealing from all these other shonen.
Because
Yeah.
he's
Thanks to Boobs.
explicit, like, this has the same
Yeah.
name.
Like they're the
I
same.
don't think he cares.
I thought this is like a passion project. He was like, I'm going to make a manga.
No, this is his job. This is what he does. This is his passion project.
Having a job where when you have a job, you could be like, I want to make a lot of money and catch
Don't
people
make me look up. I'm pretty sure I can find interviews where he talks about like how great asses are.
Just because the asses are great doesn't mean like
Darryl, is this like the horror manga episode where you're this guy? Did you write this?
I wish.
I do too.
Guys, you don't know how much I love asses. This is my passion. You're just mocking it. Well, fuck you.
He calls it an Ashen project.
Pet Ashen.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Great guy.
You said Ashen.
You didn't do the Pete. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I did it for emphasis.
I'm clearly not a good writer.
All you have to do is go to novelgraphics.com and you'll find out proof of that.
With a hyphen. Actually, I was gonna bring that up this
No, go to
episode.
keijo.com. You'll find my work.
So we all love this, right? Good, great book. It's
Yeah.
the best.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I haven't mentioned this in a long time, but I was going to, but Sly fucking mentioned it already. You guys should read Sly and Darryl's books that aren't about butts.
The few books that Darryl has that are not about books. He has all
Yeah.
the kaiju material, and then he has like 4 books that are about other
They're
stuff.
really great. It's novel-graphics.com. And I would recommend Minus Existence and The Smoke Man most of all.
I like to imagine like this is like when we did recommendations, and we're like, those are the most similar books to the topic. We're
Yeah. And I would also like to plug, other than your guys' stuff, the Comrade Radio Network. You should... This week I want to mention Tales from the Static's new episode. It's 3. And Ryan's 8-year-old daughter is on it, and it is adorable. And also creepy and scary, but, like, also really cute.
Cool. Also, Malcolm and I did an episode of a new one-off for now called Hops for Teacher, where we drink a beer and talk about education, and that should be out as of this episode coming out. And if not, it will be out soon. So,
It's either been out for 5 days or will be out in 2 days.
yeah.
And, so that's for the Comrade show?
Yep. Actually, it's like a separate one-off thing. I guess it must be for the Comrade show, right? I don't
Yeah, usually that shows up on the Comrade feed,
Yeah.
I think.
know. I think.
And you should rate and review and subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and everywhere that you find podcasts. And like us on Facebook. And you should join the other podcasts group, the Oops, I Talk Politics Facebook group, because that's more interactive than our Facebook page.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, by far. And that's all I got. You guys got anything else to add?
If any of this interested you, remember this is an anime you can sit down and watch.
Or read manga and get some fucking literature, you fucking...
That's true. Get some high class
Some
literature.
So, thank you guys for listening to Divisive Issues. I've been the mark of her hubris.
I've been the ass that knows its place.
I've been the judgment ass.
And I've been K-Cup Magnum.
Stay in continuity.